I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for August 26, 2020. I'll take care of the roll call. Commissioner President Zipfel here. Commissioner Vice President Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Lees.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
And I'm going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening as well. So if you'd stand along with me. So for only the first time in the many years that Mr. Bibro has led our township extraordinarily well, he's unable to make it tonight. That is because, for those of you who might know him, his son, Luke, had a very serious surgery this morning. It was planned, pre-planned, and I'm very happy to announce that it went extraordinarily well. And so for those of you who knew about that and were sending your thoughts and prayers to him, he knows that those will continue, and he asks that those will continue. And for those of you who did not know, Luke is a young man, and he is going to be in the hospital for a few days, more than a few days. But we are thrilled to hear by way of text today that things went as extraordinarily well, and we have every hope that he is going to recover, get home safe, get home quickly, and then we can work on him playing someday for the Philadelphia Eagles. Those of you who know.
Steelers.
No. For those of you who know, he's a Steelers fan. So, but if we would, as a special favor to us, if everyone here would take some time this evening and think of the Bibros, Luke in particular, and Aaron, he does an absolutely fantastic job. Thrilled to have him, and his family really is. We're a big family here. We like to think of it that way, and he's very much the head of that. So. Our thoughts and well wishes go out to him and his entire family. So, all right, with that, we're going to move on forward with our meeting. Is there a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Andrus. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda, moving forward with the agenda before you, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we will move forward with tonight's agenda. Citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments on agenda items? All right, not seeing anyone jump up, we have a couple of housekeeping items, which is first our consent items. Is there a motion to move into the record the consent items listed in your agenda? Motion by Commissioner Zimmerman.
Second.
Second by Vice President Rogers. For those of you who are with us and following, those items include the Board of Commissioners' regular meeting minutes of July 22, the police report for the month of July, the treasurer's report for the month of July, the paid bills in the amount of $187,515.21, and unpaid bills in the amount of $267,314.49. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor of moving those items into the record, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no objection, those are moved into the record. All right, we have a public hearing tonight with regarding to a zoning change, and I'm going to ask our solicitor to lead us through this.
Thank you, Mr. President. A motion's in order to suspend the meeting and go into the hearing.
So motioned. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rogers.
All in favor?
Oh, that's right. We need to do that, don't we? Any questions or comments? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are out of the regular meeting and into the zoning change hearing. If for those
Yes.
of you who feel any different, it might be, you'll get back to normal in a moment.
Thanks. This is a hearing pursuant to the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code. It's the result of a court-ordered settlement that we entered into with North Penn and Holdings and Lansdale Holdings LLC. This was discussed in public meetings. The board adopted the settlement agreement in June. Judge Eisenberg approved the settlement by court order in July. The township was the benefit of numerous items of that settlement agreement, but our obligation under that settlement agreement was to rezone 3 parcels that are part of this campus. So what's before you is an ordinance that rezones 3 pieces of property to LI Light Industrial. This has been properly sent to the Planning Commission of the Township, the Planning Commission of the county. They have reviewed and recommended the ordinance adoption. The property has been posted, notification to the owners has been mailed, notification to the property owners within 500 feet has been mailed. So what was necessary for this public hearing pursuant to the MPC has occurred. So with that, I think everyone understands the nature of the ordinance. So unless the board has any questions or comments, it would be appropriate for the public to comment at this time.
Are there any questions or comments from the public? Yes, if you would go to the podium, please.
Hi, Carla DeLacia, Stewart Drive. There was a financial amount of money that was transferring to us. Can you remind us what that amount of money was?
Now, I brought my laptop just for you, Carla, knowing I would need this information. So hang on, I just have to scroll down. $125,000.
And you clarified for me at the planning meeting that this is for the zoning only, not the land development. But is it fair to say that once we rezone, and I get all the legal issues, that the land development, there was some discussion about whether we could get the applicant to close 9th Street to keep the truck traffic off of Moyer Road. I'm trying to understand, really, and it's just for understanding, because I know this is a complicated issue, and judges and a lot of attorneys' times we're in. But is it fair to say that once we approve this zoning, our biggest trump card in the negotiation to influence how that land is developed is off the table?
No. To the contrary, this settlement agreement actually attaches to it a plan, and it limits the applicant relative to the construction in Hatfield Township for impervious coverage and buildings in accordance with that exact plan. So we know the extent of the development in Hatfield. So that's great because we've locked them to it. They have to file a deed restriction obligating themselves to never develop any more than shown on that plan forever and ever. The other aspects of the settlement have to do with the truck route signage on the property. I think you remember we talked about that.
9th Street, yeah.
Yeah, and there are improvements to the 9th Street extension.
But in the opposite way from Moyer Road.
Sorry?
In the opposite direction of Moyer Road.
Correct.
They're extending 9th Street the other way.
Right.
So really, the root of my question is, is there a likelihood that we will be able to get this plaintiff through land development negotiations to do anything further about trucks coming from Moyer Road in and out of 9th Street? Or because of some of the documents that I've already seen in the legal agreement, we're sort of at the limit of what they're willing to negotiate with us on with respect to that street?
Yeah, the encouragement is to get trucks not through Hatfield, to have them go in the other direction. So that's why the truck signage is part of the application. That's why the improvements to that 9th Street extension have to be made. You know, unless the township were to prohibit trucks on any of the township roads, then they could use them. But there's studies that have to be done in order for that to happen. So we're not at that point. Maybe if when they're up and running, we discover that we might want to look into such an investigation and report, we can do that then. But for now, I think it's a wait and see to see what the trucks do. We're hoping that they follow the pattern that we've laid out for them. But if not, and we have to look at it again, we can do that.
Okay. It's the way I drove to work for many, many years, and it surprises me that I actually cut through at that 9th Street and went out the other way to avoid A Street and the T and the stop sign, which I know they're going to put a light there, which is great. It just surprises me that that is the truck route, because it's a really hard turn onto 7th Street, and it does suggest that some truck traffic may increase on Moyer Road and on Cowpath. And I was just trying to understand how much of what we're agreeing today, the zoning, will sort of lock us into any further negotiation with this developer on potentially closing 9th Street at the intersection with Moyer to really ensure that they go out to the existing truck route. And you're saying we still do have
Well, the township...
negotiating room on that point, because...
No, not negotiating. So what we've put in place here is locked in. But if any point in time the township decides that it wants to study its streets and limit traffic on the streets, it can do that. That's what I'm saying. So it's not a negotiable item. I don't think they're going to voluntarily limit themselves. But if a problem occurs, and that would be after they're up and running and we see how things function, we can study it at that time.
And Moyer Road is a township-controlled road where it is within our purview to change the trucking restrictions on our portion of Moyer Road in Hatfield?
Moyer Road is a township road right up to Lansdale Borough. The portion closest to 8th Street is in Lansdale Borough.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments with regard to the zone change ordinance 692?
I want to add that it's been advertised also in the newspaper.
yeah.
I've neglected to mention that, twice as required by the MPC. So we followed all the rules necessary for the hearing. If there's no more public comment, and a motion's in order to close the hearing and go back in the meeting.
All right. Is there Chair will make a motion to close the hearing and move back into the regular meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice President Rogers. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll call in question on that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we are back into the regular meeting. So now at this point, it's appropriate to accept a motion, if there is one, with regard to ordinance number 692. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus, second by Vice President Rogers. Any questions, comments, or otherwise? All right, hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of ordinance number 692, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. No opposition, and therefore that is approved. Next, committee reports. Planning and Zoning Committee, Vice President Rogers.
Thank you. The only item tonight is the liquor license transfer hearing notice, planned for September 9th for ShopRite on...
Similar to the request we got for the Giant, where they added the beer and liquor sales. So we're required by law to have a hearing and allow public comment relative to the transfer of a liquor license when it comes from outside the municipality in. So that's what this is. We just wanted to announce it tonight so people knew it was coming.
September 9th.
Yes.
It for tonight. Thank you.
Okay. We have a little bit of a light agenda, folks, if you had not noticed that. So, Public Works Committee, Commissioner Lees. Greg, can you hear us?
Thank you, President. Townpath or Villa Road project.
Greg, can you speak up a little bit, just a little higher?
Is that it?
There you go. We can hear you. Go ahead. Yep.
Okay. So the Townpath on Villa Road project is moving along quite nice. I need to make a motion to approve the payment number 3 for that project in the amount of $233,428.60.
All right. Is there such a motion? Motion by Commissioner Andrus.
Second.
Second by Vice President Rogers. Any questions or comments? Greg, I think you just described it. It's payment number 3 for the Cowpath or Villa project, which we're all very excited about. By the way, in the years that I've never had somebody talk to me about so much about one road project as that. And so clearly this has garnered the attention of the entire Hatfield Township. So, Greg, anything else you want to add before we call the motion?
I do have other stuff for Public Works updates, but...
Hold on, Greg, let me close out the motion. So, motion's been made, it's been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Payment number 3 can move forward. Sorry, Greg, go right ahead.
Okay, so for Public Works update, after the tropical storm of August 4th, 2020, Public Works has been working on the cleanup of the stormwater system and dealing with water issues throughout the township. Public Works has repaired stormwater pipe and repaired drainage swales in key areas. They completed stormwater inlet repair in the Lexington Commons subdivision, which is Independence Way and the associated streets. Paving will be starting within the week. If you see the contractor near your street, please remove your car from the roadway. Cars will be towed at owner's expense. In the Sourwood development, North Penn Water Authority has been replacing the water main. This should be completed by the end of September and will follow with road paving throughout the development. The township has acquired a new machine which helps cut back the growth over the roadway. We have done many areas and still have the main roads to do. This is only cutting back within 10 feet of the roadway. This is the right-of-way area. If you have overhanging growth along the roadway in front of your property, please trim it or we will. Also, please note that with the heavy rains and a lot of water runoff, do not put any grass clippings, leaves, or other debris in the storm drains on the street or any streams around your yard neighborhood. Doing this causes the damming of streams and contributes to the downstream flooding in the township. And I'd like to thank the Public Works guys for the hard work that they're doing. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, great. Thank you, Greg. We're going to move right into Park and Recreation Committee. Commissioner Zimmerman.
Okay, once again, we've got quite a list here from Ashley. Programming, we've got some Tai Chi that's going to start in September on Thursdays, beginning on September 3rd through the 24th. In the morning, 9 a.m., and it'll be outdoors at the park here, School Road Park. $50 for residents, $60 for non-residents. Another American Girl Craft and History program. Featured girl is Molly McIntyre. Your registration includes a craft kit, activity, and a video. Register and pick up your craft kit at the administration building on September 23rd, and it's a $5 registration fee. Storytime series. The featured book for September is The Very Frustrated Monster by Andy Green. $5 registration. You'll get the storybook and 2 craft kits. Children can read the stories and complete the crafts individually, or you can do it as a family. Email pictures of the family reading and the completed crafts by September 30th to be included in our September Storytime series post. Registered participants can pick up their books and kits at the Township building during normal business hours. And for adults now, we're going to have a trivia night. So take a break from the chaos of back to school and grab the family and participate in our September trivia night on Tuesday, September 22nd. You can register your team and you'll be participating for Kahoot. Prize. Winning team gets a prize. Park puzzles. Great job to everyone who participated in Park Yahtzee and Park Trivial Pursuit through the month of August, but the 2 new park puzzles are coming in September. Follow the Township on Facebook for the details and a chance to win another prize. Yep. Splash and Dash. This again is virtual. You'll be running on your own. People have already started, so congratulations to our runners. It's been running their 3.1 miles throughout the month of August. Check out our photos of the runners on Facebook. Submit your pictures by the end of the month, so you only have a few more days for your chance to win a virtual yearbook superlative award. And more information, runtheday.com on the website.
All right. We are in a pandemic and we still have lots going on, which is great. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Zimmerman. Okay, so tonight, actually it would have been a couple of meetings ago, I think. Is that right, Chief, where we had the Chapman Scholarship Awards? Really is our favorite, one of our favorite meetings. I think it probably is our favorite meeting because we get to recognize and honor some of the best of Hatfield's students. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we were not in a position to invite them and their families to a traditional ceremony that we have here. So what we've done, for those of you who follow us on Facebook and on social media, we posted pictures and information about the winners, congratulating them. And we thought tonight we would take some time to at least publicly acknowledge in a meeting the 4 winners this year, and I have a little bio about each one of them. And so this is it really is one of our best nights because it honors one of our great police officers who lost his life some years ago. So it's near and dear to our heart to recognize people in his honor and in his name. And I'm happy to say that this year, actually for a number of years in a row, it was almost exclusively girls, young women, and 2 guys as well as 2 young women also are the recipients this year. The first one, in no particular order, is a young man named Owen Bish. Owen will be attending American University this fall and majoring in political science. And while attending Souderton High School, he was a member of the Principal Student Advisory Council and intern for Congresswoman Madeline Dean. These two experiences piqued his interest in politics and serving the public. In his free time, Owen loves to play sports and was involved in the baseball and basketball teams while attending Souderton. Souderton has a very successful basketball team over the years. With a passion in sports and wanting to serve the public, he was able to create a junior volunteer umpiring league for his local Little League. That's a great thing to do. We congratulate Owen in his success in high school and look forward to seeing what the future holds for him. Our second recipient, Emily Brazina. Emily is a graduate of Souderton Area High School as well, where she excelled academically and as a gymnast. She made the honor roll every semester except one while taking advanced placement and honors courses, which is not an easy thing to do, I can tell you. I have young kids and I've seen them at that level. She has performed gymnastics since she was 6 years old and is competitively ranked as a state qualifier all 4 years of high school. These two accomplishments alone would be noteworthy, but Emily strived to do more by participating in student government, National Honor Society, and Future Business Leaders of America. She also took it upon herself to start the Souderton Area High School Red Cross Club, and she was a student leader of Souderton, Inc. She'll be attending Northeastern University, where she plans to study chemistry and biochemistry for use in medical research and medical design. We congratulate her on all of her accomplishments and wish her continued success. Third is Isabelle Marie Salvatore. She's a Hatfield Borough resident and North Penn High School graduate. During her high school years, Isabella was a Distinguished Honor Roll or Honor Roll recipient, the vice president of the Various Voices Club, a Link crew leader, the Italian Club secretary and president, a National Junior Honor Society member, a chorus member, and a member of the North Penn High School track and field team. Outside of school, Isabella regularly volunteered at events hosted by the Hatfield American Legion, including the Memorial Day Parade, and also helped to organize and volunteered at events at Hatfield Elementary School. Growing up, she attended the Hatfield Junior Police Academy. Chief, you probably have crossed paths with her a number of times. For several years, which she helped fuel her interest in criminal justice and a desire to give back to the community. Isabella will be attending Bloomsburg University in the fall, where she'll be majoring in criminal justice and digital forensics. Last is Kevin Shuler. Kevin is a Hatfield resident and a graduate of the North Penn High School. In addition to his remarkable grades on his high school transcript, Kevin was elected the vice president of the Student Government Association and a member of the Key Club. Kevin also volunteered at the Oak Park Elementary School, helping students there in their homework club, at Manna on Main Street, and assisting nurses, doctors, and staff at the Abington Lansdale Hospital. Kevin will be attending Penn State University and intends to pursue a career in biology in a medical field. Kevin's hard work and dedication to his community mirror that of Officer William Chapman, for whom this scholarship was founded. We wish Kevin and all of the other recipients the best in their college career and future endeavors. So with that, I'd like to give each of them a round of applause. They have already received their scholarship awards and been recognized by the police. And Chief, we thank your entire crew for really running the scholarship and finding some fantastic candidates every year. Every year I read these bios and I think, I don't know how they have time in the day to do this. Because your average bear can't do half of that and get through the day. So these are very special people, and their parents as well should be very proud of them, because what a great way to honor your parents, but just to get a distinguished award like that. So thanks again, everyone, and congratulations to the recipients. All right, next is Finance Committee, Commissioner Andrus.
Thank you. A couple items. The board approved an agreement of sale last month for the property on Cowpath, which will become the future location Hatfield Police Department. The great news is that the interest rate was locked in the following day at just over 1%. It's the lowest rate ever offered by the lender, which is Delaware Valley Regional Finance Authority. Budget process will crank into high gear after Labor Day with the Staff and Finance Committee, and then there will be public workshops in October. We've highlighted some of the cost-cutting strategies as previous meetings to deal with the expected loss of revenue from the pandemic. We'll focus more on those items and how we will budget for next year to ensure the township maintains a good fiscal position. Aaron tells me, thanks to the board, moves the board has made, and obviously the staff has put in the effort, we still expect the tax will remain level in '21 for the 7th straight year.
Great. That's great news. Thank you very much. Kristen, I think I jumped the gun on the action item, didn't I?
I didn't mind.
I was going to say, I didn't think you would. For those of you who are following along, and Bob, somebody could have told me, nudged me. I guess I got so excited to move forward with it. That's right, he's too far to nudge. So for those of you following along on the agenda, what we would have done now was approve Ordinance 692, which was what we did right after the public hearing. So we are concluded with that item on our agenda. So Township staff reports, this is normally when Aaron would give us an update. Obviously, in his absence, we'll have a larger debrief at our next meeting, which we're looking forward to. I think our next meeting is second week in September. We're back to 2 meetings a month starting in September, live. God willing, we all keep everything goes in the right direction, and we continue to have our meetings live. And that's the Township staff report. Solicitor's report. Anything to report?
All is well.
That is great news to always hear from your lawyer. And citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments on, yes, Ed?
Ed Tarter, Downing Drive. I was thought under the Public Works section there was going to be some information about Orville and Cowpath. I saw a quick Facebook thing of it was going to be shut down, Orville Road at Cowpath to Maple. Can you elaborate a little further as to how long and what's being done as far as traffic through the area?
I think right now
okay. Well, go ahead, Bob.
the estimated time is 2 months, but I'm
Right.
being told that they always overestimate it so that everybody's happy when it's done in 6 weeks.
That's what I saw 2 months. Is this a misprint?
Well, yeah, so did I. I thought they were replacing the bridge too. But, I guess as we get closer, we have more details. I think we'll be having.
My other concern would be, while the state is going to reroute them over state roads,
Well, yeah,
we all know that people know the roads in Hatfield are going to be taking shorter routes than what the state does.
it'll be Vine Street, line Lexington. But the state is marking Broad Street.
Right, I understand that for state road project, they have to route them on a state road, not township road. My concern is the truck traffic on line Lexington Road, Vine Street, School Road. There's a lot of trucks running over Villa Road, and they're not going to want to go all the way down to Broad Street through all that traffic.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with a plan as we get it a little closer to that.
Being gridlocked right in this area right as we speak, or not as we speak, but where I stand, so to speak. All right, so it is for approximately 2 months, and it'll be closed while they redo that.
Correct.
It is, and everything that Commissioner Rogers, Vice President Rogers just said is exactly the conversations that I think each of us have individually had with Aaron. And so as we get closer in time, we are going to work on coming up with a plan to alleviate the concerns that you've raised. And I can't echo enough, I can't make the promises either because it's not us, but the 2-month time frame, got my fingers crossed, is an overestimation because we were all taken aback a little bit when we learned of that time frame.
Well, the car traffic, like I say, will be one thing, but the 18-wheelers and such,
Yeah.
trying to get up line Lexington Road and through Vine Street and Maple Avenue, that's going to be a real... All right, thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Ed. Thanks for coming out. Okay, any other citizens' comments? Yes, sir.
Is that close enough?
Good. If you could just give us your name and address, please.
My name is Ed Monsell. I live on Oak Park Road. And my comment is tonight, I believe this year I noticed people are leaving political signs up all year instead of just doing the political time. So I decided to look into it, and there is an ordinance on political signs that basically says you can put them up 30 days before, up to 7 days after the election that they're pertaining to. I talked to some of my friends about this and my neighbors. I also talked to at least a half a dozen of the people who have the signs up. I got everywhere between, oh, I didn't know, let me take that down right away, to I'm taking my sign down, get off my property. Of course, you got both ends of the spectrum. So I, with my neighbor across the street, would like to know, one, why they don't enforce the ordinance, and whether in the future. totally bombasted with advertising from the TV, radio, newsprint, signs along the road, billboards. I don't see why we should have to leave these signs up all year, and I'm talking about a long time. I don't want to say who the main perpetrator is, but our local representative, the new guy, seems to think he doesn't have to pay attention to the law, and he's telling people they can put their signs up. It's still 2.5 months out, or almost 2.5 months out, and I just don't believe we should be opposed to these signs all year long. My comment?
Thank you. I'm going to let our solicitor, who I'm remarkably confident has a legal explanation for what you described, but we do appreciate your coming out and give us your comment. Kristen?
So to be honest, I've never looked at Hatfield Township's ordinance relative to our political signs. It's never a question has been brought to us to do that. I did have some experience in East Norriton and in federal court relative to political signs and know that the law, however, notwithstanding what our code says, is that political signs are free speech, and we cannot regulate. Someone can have a political sign on their lawn all year round if they want to. The only thing we can regulate is placement outside the right-of-way, so many feet from the curb. But it's a free speech protected item that we have to be very careful about.
So and Commissioner Zimmerman, I think, wants to make a point as well. And we do appreciate your making note of that. I'll tell you that my understanding is that, consistent with what our solicitor just said, is on private property, if I want to have a, Tom Zipfel sign, I'll just use myself as an example instead of an existing person who's running for office, I can have a Tom Zipfel sign on my own property as long as it doesn't become so obtrusive, and I think there's some possibilities. I mean, you can't have something that blocks someone else's building or anything like that. But on private property, yes, I believe, and I haven't looked at it in a while, but I believe that the 30-day time frame is in a public right-of-way or in public locations. And so if there is a concern, though, that these are in public locations, feel free to let us know. And of course, Chief and that they enforce our laws, and we would certainly look into that.
I was just going to say exactly what you just said. It's on private property, you can have it as, year-round, but it's the right-of-ways, like if you put it on a corner or, somewhere else down the street, that's 30 days. But private property, it's your property. You can put it up as early as you want to put it up, leave it up as long as you want to leave it up. But any right-of-ways, like President Zipfel said, corners and other places like that, it does have the 30-day limit, 30 days before the election.
Township property is in that category too. That's public property. We can regulate that.
Our own property.
Our own property, yeah, but not private property.
Okay. So I think you said your name was Ed. Ed, if something is outside of those bounds, feel free to let us know. Okay? Okay. All right. Any other citizens' comments? All right. Well, we appreciate everyone coming out, especially, again, during a time when not a lot of people are coming out to their local meetings. So thank you for doing that. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers, second by Commissioner Andrus. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thanks for coming out, folks. See you soon.